Uh, Good evening, traders. It's your boy Strutonly back again. It's now to 12 Central African time, but we do not rest until we give you the proper knowledge that you require for your trading. So I'm awake so that I can try and push and give you a lot of information about what I know about the forex markets. So as we proceed, we now want to take a look into the types of trades that we encounter in beat the market maker strategy. So in this video, I will go through with you with the ID 50 trade, which is called the intraday 50 trade. Right. In the past two videos, I have managed to show you how to set up the indicators for the BTMM market, a BTMM strategy. I also went further to teach you about the market structure, how the market moves in cycles or levels. Now, let me take this opportunity to introduce you to the intraday 50 trade. So I've compiled some notes to make it a bit easy for you to understand what I'm going to be saying. So as a trader, you should know that we wait for setups. Trading requires patience, as trading most of the time is to wait for proper and right setups. So it might take some time before a proper setup appears, right? So one should be patient and wait for the proper setup, as they've got a high probability of winning. So without wasting your time, let me jump into the notes that I compiled for you. Right. As I have said earlier on, the BTMM physiology has its own types of trades that one should expect to take during the course. During the course of this video, I want to take you through one of the trades that have got 95% winning rate. So I said I wanna talk about the ID 50 trade, which is called the day 50 trade. From the term intraday, usually this trade, when we are talking about the intraday, we find it on the M15 time frame. But at the same time, we find this trade in all time frames. In our H1 time frame, it is called the 50 pounds trade. This term comes after the fact that if you check on the main chart price, if you check on the main chart, a price retraces to the 50 EMA. At the same time, if you check to our indicator chart, you see that on our TDI, our moving average 2, which is the green EMA, will bounce on the level 50, which is our mid to level. Okay, some may ask, what is an ID 50 trade? Here is the best explained answer. It is a trend continuation setup after a peak formation, or one would classify it as a first pullback to the 50 EMA after a peak formation. So for us to have an ID 50 trade, right, we need a peak formation. Let me show you what I'm trying to say in a sketch. Right, when we are looking for an ID 50 trade, what is the first thing that we should see? If it is a downtrend movement, we expect to see an M formation here. This M formation which gives us our peak formation high. Then we expect price to make an impulsive move downwards. We said this one is a downtrend, right? So after having made this impulsive move downwards, it has to retrace back. We have got this retractive move upwards, right? As price retraces, it has to touch our 50 EMA, which will be moving in this way. This will be our 50 EMA. Okay, let me make this clear. This is our 50 EMA. Our 50 EMA. So price is to come and reach the 50 EMA. Then it has to trap to the 50 EMA. Either this should be by pins or the whole candle. Right? So this is what we call the ID 50 trade. So we should take note that we have a peak at the top, or let's say it's an uptrend. It means we should have a peak formation low. So price will make an impulsive move upwards, then it makes a retractive move downwards where it touches the 50 EMA, which will be moving up here. So this becomes our ID 50 trade. Let me draw it again in a much clearer way. This is the movement of the market, and price is to touch the 50 EMA. This is our 50 EMA. So this becomes the ID 50 trade that we are talking about. Okay, let me go back to my notes. Right, so there are rules that we take when trading the ID 50 trade, which I have already illustrated. So the rules are like this. We must have a peak formation as I have illustrated, right? So having our peak formation, right, there should be a 13 crossover taking place, right? After having the 13 EMA crossover, right, we need to have our first pullback, right, which must be having 25 to 50 pips. This pullback, we call it a stop hand, and you are likely to see a quick move, right? Let me go back into sketching. Right, so our first rule, we said we must have a peak formation low or a peak formation high, right? After having this, we said now we want the 13 EMA, which is following price, to cross over with the 13 EMA. This crossover is what we call the 1350 crossover. It's another major rule for a ID50 trade. Then after this, we expect price after the peak formation. We expect price to make a stop hand. This fake move upwards, this is what we call a stop hand, right? The stop hand, this fake move here to here, we need at least 25 to 50 pips so that we know that we have a stop hand. How then do we enter? We now wait. Our entry trigger should be a nameable pattern or shift candle below the 13 EMA. As we are moving, we said the 13 EMA is following price. So we wait for the 13 EMA for a candle that closes. If it is a downtrend, wait for the candle that closes below the 13 EMA. We know that once this candle, the shift candle closes below the 13 EMA, the price will not be able to break this 13 EMA. So this will be a proper entry for us. If it is an uptrend, price has to close above the 13 EMA. So this is what should happen on our TDI.
Thank you so much for having us. This is my chance to reconnect with my girls.
On our TDI, this is what we call our traders dynamic index. In the traders dynamic index, we've got what we call the MPL bar, the MPL line. So in the MPL line, we have got two EMAs. One with period 2, the other is period 7. The one with period 2 is the green one. The one that is got period 7 is the red one. So we expect the green one, let's say it's an upward movement. The green line should cross the red line. This is the green, this is the red line. There should be this cross on the TDI in the direction of the market, right? Also, the price line, which is the green line, should bounce on the 50 level, which is our midway. We say the green line should bounce this bounce on the 50 mid level. This will be the 50 mid level. Price is to bounce on the 50 mid level. If this happens, we are now assured that we can enter the ID50 trade. Okay, having said this, let me jump into my charts, right? I usually like the volatility 25 1S charts. It's my one of my most favorite pair, and it's one of my most winning pair. So I like the movement of E25 1S as well as volatility. Its volatility. Okay, let me show you where we can talk about the ID50 trade. Right, I want to come here. Let me put something to make it a little bit much clear. You see this red zone, this area where I've put the red zone, if you can see properly, this is the peak formation low. We are having a W formation here. If you can see, we are having a, let me put some arrows for you, here to show you the W that I'm talking about. Okay, right. um okay, so this is the W that I'm talking about. We are having a peak formation low, so we expect movement upwards. This is an uptrend, right? So let me now show you what an ID50 trade is on the real charts. Allow me to remove these arrows. Right, so if you can see clearly now, this is where we have our 1350 cross. If you haven't seen our first video where I talked about, where I showed how these EMAs are inserted, you can go back to our previous videos. Also, if you have missed an explanation of these EMAs, how they work, you visit our previous videos, you manage to understand how they are inserted and what they mean. So we said the 13 EMA, which is the red one, which follows the movement of price or candlesticks. Now is we are having the cross of the 13 EMA, which is the red, and the 5th EMA, which is the blue. Once this happens, we wait, price will move up, then we wait for price to move down our range of 25 to 50 pips. Where are we seeing the price making a retractive move? Here, price moved, if you see, price moved from this point up to this point, right? uh, Having made this impulsive move, price then, allow me to remove this, price, when price reached this point here at 437 937, we can see that price then made this retractive move where I've put my arrows back to the 50 EMA, right? So when price retraces to the 50 EMA, we now wait for the close candle above our 13 EMA. So our entry was supposed to be around price 436 cents 69. If you check, price went nicely upwards from here. We had some retracements, but then price went as high as possible. So you see, if you take the rules that I told you seriously and you wait for proper setups, I repeat again, if you wait for the right setup, if you wait for the rules, you won't miss this trade and it will be a profitable trade to you. Okay, this was one of the ID50 trades. Let me try to find another clear ID50 trade right here. You can see here, we come here, right one, this one here. Let me put some reds on here. You can see this was a peak formation low, right? What do we see? How do we see our ID50 trade? We check for the 1350 cross, which did happen here, right? After the 1350 cross, we now check for our pullback, which this one is the pullback, and as you see, price touched the 50 EMA, right? After price having touched the 50 EMA, after price having touched the 50 EMA, price then moved safely upwards. I think this is so clear. Okay, so now we want to talk about the TDI, which is our trader style dynamic index, right? Or on our TDI, we said we want to see the price line crossing over our trader signal line. So we come here and check if that happened on our charts, right? Let's see. We come and see if we had such things. If you check here, price here, if you check here, price here, if you check here, the price line is crossing our trader signal line, moving up in the intended direction. So this was a proper setup for an ID50. So this is all about the ID50 trade. So don't like to comment, like, share and subscribe, because I shall be posting a lot of very interesting stuff to help those who wanna have knowledge on beat the market maker strategy. So in our next video, we shall talk about the safety trade, what it means, the rules, where the name comes from, and what it implies. Thank you for watching this video. Stay safe, have a good night. Your boy Struton Lee signing out.